How to reuse Node.js packages with AWS Lambda Functions using Amplify and Lambda Layers. In this article, you'll learn how to inject custom packages on AWS Lambda Functions Runtime by using AWS Lambda Layers. You'll also use Amplify to develop, deploy, and distribute your applications. Serverless applications are great for those who don't want to pay for idle machines or even manage cloud infrastructures. This post will focus on a gentle introduction to the Amplify framework using Node.js. You'll install a custom Node.js package once and inject it on all your functions using AWS Lambda Layers. Injecting a custom package on AWS Lambda Functions Runtime using AWS Lambda Layers to monitor and extend HTTP requests. In the next steps, you'll create a real application and publish it on the AWS infrastructure. Before starting to code, make sure you have the following requirements set up on your environment. One of my favorites cloud platforms that provides serverless infrastructure is Amazon Web Services. They have long been developing and shipping platforms that empower companies to release software faster than if they had to configure and handle repetitive configurations. If you're familiar with serverless applications, you might have heard about the Serverless framework. It's a multi-cloud framework for managing serverless architectures by using configuration files, deploying and running apps using a single command. Even so, developers still need install plugins and manage configuration files by themselves, and it could take a while to build a complex workflow. So, what kind of CLI do you like most? A CLI that would ask you about what you want, such as external connections, database, storage, queue, etc., authentication flow, external permissions, and so on. Yeah, my friend. Welcome to AWS Amplify. AWS Amplify is an ecosystem that helps back-end, front-end, and integration developers. If you take a look at its official docs, you'll see the huge list of possible libraries and examples to work on both back-end and front-end applications. When you have your AWS CLI configured and your environment set, run the following command to install AWS Amplify globally on your machine. Now, you'll initialize an Amplify project by running the command below. To do so, you'll need to check a few options on the CLI wizard. Notice that when prompted, you can press enter on your keyboard to choose default values. Through the next steps, you'll create a function. This function will be used to store dependencies which will be injected later into functions around the AWS Lambda Functions ecosystem. Choose the options according to the bold text options below. Notice that for the compatible runtimes, you'll need to hit the space key on your keyboard to select the runtime. Going to the layers path Amplify, backend, function, AppMagent layer, you may have seen a few folders created by Amplify. As we're working on a Node.js project, all Node modules must be installed on NODEJS. I built an example of an application performance monitor to show how to use the Node.js performance hooks feature to measure duration between requests and change HTTP response readers. It will help show you other possibilities to implement shared code and extend Node.js behavior. The first step here is to install the shared dependencies and upload them to the AWS. Go to the path generated by the CLI Amplify, backend, function, AppMagent layer, lib, NODEJS, and then install the package using the following commands. Once you've installed your package, you can just deploy it and inspect it later via the AWS console. Notice that we haven't added any code yet. The goal at this point is just to prepare this library for further use. At this point, you already have a local Amplify infrastructure project ready to add API routes, routines, link with AWS services, and so on. The command below will be useful for generating an ExpressJS-based project and an AWS Lambda function. It'll also link the function on your nearly created AWS Lambda layer and expose it on the AWS API gateway. Provide a friendly name for your resource to be used as a label for this category in the project, MyAPI. Choose the function template that you want to use, Serverless ExpressJS function, integration with API gateway. As I'm using VS Code, the last wizard's answer will open the app.js file on my editor so I can edit. Now, without adding other dependencies, Let's import the Lambda layer shared module on the first line of this file using the code below. After editing the file, go to the terminal and hit enter and choose the answers showed in bold below. At the time of writing, we can't test Lambda layers locally using AWS Amplify. But you're going to deploy your project to AWS and test it in production by running the Amplify push command again. Notice that it will print out which resources need to be updated and which resources will be created on this deploy. It'd take a while to perform all operations and your output should look like the below. As your terminal may have shown, your API has now a URL. My generated URL is and the root will be hi, which we created together in the previous steps. Hi after running it. The API should respond with a JSON response with the following content: success, get call succeed, URL, hi. The Lambda layer was injected and it should have changed your response headers, adding the X instrumented by and X requested keys like this. X requested 5DD F1343 E42 E4 E33 B1 E1 to 936 C303 C14 C8. If you're curious about what Amplify has managed for you during this tutorial, run Amplify console and browse on the dashboard. You can see mine below. There are a lot of ways to improve your experience on serverless applications. The Amplify framework can help you build next-generation apps and avoid repetitive tasks. Check the official docs to see other possibilities to build powerful APIs using cutting-edge technologies such as GraphQL and AWS AppSync. I'm sure it'll help you a lot. I really appreciate the time we spent together. I hope this content will be more than just text. I hope it will have made you a better thinker and also a better programmer. Follow me on Twitter and check out my personal blog where I share all my valuable content. Learn to code for free. FreeCodeCamp's open source curriculum has helped more than 40,000 people get jobs as text source. freecodecamp.org